disappointed in the past 2 months and nervous for my future class that's not even assigned yet. So I'm scared out of my mind. What is up today, guys? Today we're going to be talking about my experience in month 20 at Feazel University in the computer animation degree program from Feazel University. And the class was, let me read it, compositing and scene finishing, and I'm online. This is my month 20, could be your month. Let's see, I had 3 prerequisites done. I found out I had 3 instead of 2 just a few months ago, so this could be your month. Soonest 18, latest probably 23, 22, 23, month 18 to 23 probably for you, but this just happened to be my month 20 here, and you can only get into this class by passing the previous class, which was compositing fundamentals. So went from CFM to CSF. Let's get into this. We're going to talk about some class information, some assignments, teacher tips, and in short, and then we'll get on out of here. Let's go ahead and just talk about this. Some class information, what are we doing? So when you open up the page, you got your welcome letter, course overview, and then lesson 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's all you see on there. Pretty much it. You got 1 lesson a week, and that's not bad. What programs are you using? You're going to be using Synthesize, which is new to us, and Nuke, which you first experienced last month. So there's that. There are 9 assignments throughout the month. 1 was your professionalism. I got to tell you how they grade, kinda. So if you don't turn it in, you get a 0, no credit. Then they grade kinda in tiers. So tier 1 is 0 to 50%, and you're considered an amateur and not hireable. Tier 2, 50 to 74%, you're transitional, and you're like not hireable yet and need some improvement in the area before becoming proficient. Tier 3 is proficient, it's 75 to 85%, and you are hireable at entry level. Exceptional artist is tier 4, and that is an 85% to 100%, and that is hireable. Entry level is junior. That's how they grade. I think that's pretty much it. In terms of lectures, the lectures were just podcasts. I think you can schedule like open labs or just screen share meetups. What's that dang thing called? Skype. You could probably Skype with your teacher if needed, just set something up, but I didn't utilize any of that. I simply watched the pre-recorded podcast and followed along. So yeah, that's pretty much all you need to know about the class information. That's all there really is to know. So let's go ahead and talk about some assignments. So to break down your assignments, you can look at it like this for weeks 1 and 2 specifically. Week 1 is more of like a let's learn week, while week 2 is more of a test of what you learned week. Let's elaborate. So week 1, every week you have your practice or whatever, your overall assignment, and then you have a discussion. Okay, so let's talk about the assignment and then we'll talk about the discussion. This class calls your assignments challenges, okay? For week 1, you're using Synthesize, okay? Synthesize is a 3D tracking software. I'm pretty sure that's near what it's only used for. I might be wrong, I've only just learned it. What you're gonna do is they give you like 7 options, maybe 8, maybe 6, somewhere in there, options of short little scenes to use for you to 3D track, okay? And the last week of compositing fundamentals, I remember that there was a bunch of tracking, but it was in Nuke and it was 2D. This, it's 3D. I tracked a room and an over city, not city, but like an over little square of a town or something like that. And you only have to track 2, but I think they said if you do more, it's like you might get a few more points, because in this class, like in the podcast that I watched, they said if you do exactly what we ask, around an 85 will be your best grade. And I was like, I hate classes like this. If you want me to do more, then just tell me to do more and I will work it into my schedule. Because like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of busy with work and life, and during this week, week 1, I got kind of sick because the seasons are changing. I had a bunch of head pressure, and it was just a mess. So I don't like when classes are like, if you do exactly everything we ask, the way we ask it, you're gonna get like a B or a B plus at best. I don't like that. Going into this, I automatically was like, it's new software that we're learning, and I'm already not liking the way this class is kind of set up. So I wasn't all too thrilled to start this course. So in terms of lectures, I'm looking at my punch list off to the side. I spent 135 minutes, a little over 2 hours, watching lectures, but there were way more videos, but some of the videos coincided with the projects, and I kind of watched the video while I did my project, and I counted that towards my project. So I would say there's probably 4 hours worth of videos to watch. Some of them you just watch and they're like lecture notes kind of. Some of them are more demos where you follow along. Let's break it down. You have to do a minimum of 2 challenges. So 2 of the videos from the list of like 6 to 8, maybe 9 that they give you, you have to track them and then recreate the main objects in the scene. Like the one I did inside, I recreated the table and the window and the picture frame. And that was actually the demo one. So I was like, you know what, I'm feeling kind of good about this. It's not incredibly difficult to 3D track and synthesize. It's kind of easy. It's actually kind of fun when you get the swing of it and you get into it. It's not terrible. When I went to go do the second project, I was like, you know what, I'm getting it. I'm gonna take this big square shot. I felt kind of good doing it until I got to like the rendering part, when I had render issues and I got on Discord. I recommend you do it. I got on Discord and I talked with someone on there, and he really helped me out. We were on there at like 1 a.m. on Saturday going into Sunday trying to figure it out. We eventually got it and got it all figured out. Overall, I felt kind of nervous about this turn-in because I was like, I feel like I did what they wanted, but some of the videos were outdated. Like, can't remember if it was week 1, 2, 3, or 4, but there was a video where it was like, now we're gonna give it our naming convention, and right now it is 1610. I was like, holy cow, that's 3 years ago. They're still teaching this. And then in one of the lectures that they had linked onto the main page, it said, right now we only need you to render out a Nuke file from your Synthesize file, but later on, if we're asking for a Maya file, just do that too. Obviously, I could see that this has definitely changed since the time that video was created, because they asked for a Maya file too. It was just a very confusing week, and I might even be confusing you trying to say this. Overall, it's very confusing. It's new software, and I don't feel like it was presented well. The challenge tutorial demo, where they walk you through that one assignment, I got that. That was easy. Everything else, it was really friggin' confusing. So overall, that was this week. A very confusing week. There's a lot of just additional words on this main lesson. It's really confusing, and I don't feel like it's laid out very well at all. You get to the very bottom of your lesson and it's like, oh, by the way, you need to have a self-critique video posted in the discussion by Thursday at 11 p.m. And I saw that and I about freaked out, because the due date for lesson 1 is Sunday, and then the due date, quote unquote, for your discussion is also Sunday. But nowhere there did it say, like, did it come up as an alert, hey, bing bing, here's an alert, you have your self-critique video due Thursday at 11 p.m. When I saw that, I was like, oh dang, I remember that being in the welcome video. There was no due date flashing on the screen or anything. So they hide that there. You gotta remember that, and it's gonna sneak up on you if you don't remember it, because I missed it in the first week, and it's like 50% of your discussion grade will be docked if you miss this. Everything I just said about week 1 being confusing, and I tracked the 2 scenes, that's pretty much it. So we're gonna move on to the discussion, and then I'll wrap up week 1, because those 2 track scenes that I did, that was it. So moving on to the discussion. Freaking out, I did my self-critique video, and I was like, this is with my stuffy nose and everything, but I was like, hey, this is what I've done. I haven't had time for my second project yet. Pretty much that. And yeah, upload that video. I got a 90 on my discussion. It wasn't even because my self-critique video was late. It was because, as my professor said, use the template and add media correctly to the discussion. And that is, in my actual discussion, I put links to YouTube videos instead of actually downloading the videos and uploading the videos to the discussion, which I think is crazy to dock 10% for that, but it is what it is. So anyway, your discussion, pretty much you're gonna find 5 different, was it 5? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5 different kind of camera moves, explain why match moving is important, and stuff like that. It's pretty easy. But yeah, in week 1, I spent 1,024 minutes. Equates to 17 hours and 4 minutes. So know that week 1 takes a long time, and it's mainly the tracking that takes a long time. You have automated tracking and hand tracking, like, you know, babysit tracking, whatever, manual tracking, whatever it's called. Automated tracking, there's an awful lot of cleanup, and it's gonna get you good trackers, but you gotta get rid of thousands of bad trackers. Manual tracking, that takes a long time, but not as long as the cleanup does for automated. You know they're good trackers. So remember that for Synthesize. That's pretty much it. I feel like I was very confusing during this week 1 talk, but week 1 was very confusing. Looking at the grades, like how they're weighted, lesson 1 was only weighted, like the project itself was only weighted 10%, and lesson 2 was weighted 25%. It's actually called like a practice skills test, like literally that's it. You're doing the exact same thing you did week 1, except there's no demo for you to follow or anything like that. It's pretty much just, okay, you learned it in week 1, let's see if you actually did learn it. You have to do 2 tracks, and it's a fairly complicated track. Like the camera's very shaky and stuff like that, but it's able to be tracked. Shoot, I spent 610 minutes tracking the first long shot where you're kind of at the character's feet, and then I spent 241 minutes tracking the above scene. I wanted to do the shot where there's way more going on first, just to get it out of the way, because if I struggled on the short one, I would have taken forever on the long one. So I got the long one knocked out real soon. I did my self-critique video by Thursday at midnight, or Thursday at 11 p.m. and everything is still due on Sundays aside from the self-critique video. And I found myself feeling better with synthesizing this week, but I was still like really confused. I knew convert your movie file into a sequence in Nuke, and then I feel confident enough to track. But then when it comes to like knowing the steps after that, I get really confused because it wasn't taught very well in my opinion. Like, I don't know, I don't know how they could have taught it better, but the way that they did teach it, straight up confusing. And I took down plenty of notes. I'd say 7 pages a week just of pure notes, and I still don't feel very comfortable with this software. So that is what it is. Keep in mind that during week 2, I still hadn't gotten my grade for week 1. I was really nervous and I was like freaking out the entire time. I was like, okay, I'll hold off one more day before starting week 2 because I want to get some feedback for week 1, see where I need to improve, see where I am doing alright and where I'm like doing good. I ended up completing week 2 not knowing what I got in week 1, which is my practice week, and this was my test week. It was like I did a project on new software I've never used, then I had to take a test over it without getting feedback on how I'm doing first. Like, I didn't like that. It's like this, okay? They try to teach you this new program, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna do an assignment on it, and I'll turn it in, you give me some feedback. But they don't give you the feedback until after the test. And I thought that was just ridiculous. Like, in week 1, I got an 83, and on my test week in week 2, I got a 95. Cool, whatever, it's a 95. I was so freaking out. I was nervous. I was convinced that this is going to be the first class I don't get an A in, and I'm going to fail. I'm going to fail out of Full Sail, and it was freaking me out. Now, I understand instructors have lives, and things go on. I don't know if my instructor did have something going on. My stress level was through the roof, not knowing how I did on week 1, not knowing if what I'm doing in week 2 is going to contradict the feedback I'm going to get for week 1 or not. It was just a very stressful week, to say the least. And in week 2, I spent 1,129 minutes, which equates to 18 hours and 49 minutes. Most of it went to tracking, and that's pretty much it. It was just another 3D tracking week. Week 1, your 3D tracking, it's worth 10%. Week 2, you're testing over how well you learned your 3D tracking, and it's worth 25%. It was taught well enough to where I was okay with it, but I'm not comfortable in it, and I would have to watch an awful lot more videos before jumping back into the synthesize. That's just where I ended on that. Now for the last 2 weeks, weeks 3 and 4, we're back in Nuke. I already am not comfortable in Nuke, and then to hear that weeks 3 and 4 are in Nuke, I was like, ah, shoot. I didn't feel like I learned it very well last month. I am just not comfortable in it still. That's just the way I saw it, and that's just the way it was. But as it ended up being, weeks 3 and 4 are practically give me weeks. I got a 100 in both weeks, and I spent 5 hours 1 minute in week 3, and 7 hours 45 minutes in week 4. They are give me weeks. So what you're doing, you're compositing. You're gonna see my week 3 playing up here. It's the exact same assignment in weeks 3 and 4. In week 3, you're gonna go from starting the assignment to 50% of the way through the assignment, and then in week 4 you're going from your 50-point mark where you ended in week 3, and you're going to take it to the 100% mark. And basically in week 3 you have one video to watch. It's like a little over 2 hours, maybe a little under 2 hours. It's somewhere around the 2 hour mark. If you just follow along with that, you're going to get a 100. In week 4 you're going to pick up where you left off, watch that 2 hour 20-minute-ish video, follow that all the way through, and you're going to get a 100. in week 4, it likes to try to scare you, like this is my week 4, but it tries to scare you like FSO with the typing on there, where it's like, the video of week 4 will not take you all the way through your assignment, and it will not show you how to do your assignment in full. It does. At the end of the video, it's like, do your color corrections, do this, do that. There's still lots of work that needs to be done. At this point, I didn't care, and I still don't feel like I learned Nuke at all. So I was like, I did the math, I was like, if I get a 74 on this assignment or higher, I've still got an A in the class. So I turned it in, and lo and behold, the video got me all the way there. I got 100 on it, a 100 in week 4. I ended with a 96.55 in the class. Here's my overall problem with weeks 3 and 4. And I know I've kind of mushed them together in terms of talking about them, but it's the same assignment, just 0 to 50, 50 to 100. Over this month, as well as the past, I don't feel like Nuke was taught very well at all. Here's what I mean by that. We remember 3DF, right? With Steve Gold, it was great. Here is the thing. There were, what, two or three lectures a week or something like that, and they were all like 2 hours long. In each lecture, we talked about only a handful of things. We talked about the multi-cut tool, the insert edge loop tool, the very basics, and we practiced with them and we learned them. Over the course of compositing fundamentals and this class, compositing and scene finishing, every time we used Nuke, we simply just watched someone do the project for us and we copied that. And that's it. They didn't take time to be like, let's learn about the pre-molt node, or let's learn about the, I don't know, let's learn how to read things in, or let's learn about the color correction node. Let's spend 30 minutes on this. Now I get that there are a lot of nodes and a lot of tiny little details to do in terms of compositing, but I don't feel like it was given a fair treatment, and I almost feel like I got nothing out of these past 2 months in terms of compositing in general. I feel alright with scene like 3D tracking, but I didn't get to do anything creative the past 2 months. I simply just watched my professors walk me through the project and I copied it. Now that's not me saying I feel guilty about being a copycat, no. Them walking you through the entire project is the lecture, pretty much. And I almost feel robbed as a student for not getting a proper learning experience. Because if I were to hop on the Nuke right now, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. And somehow I got like a 94 something in the class last month and a 96.55 in this class. Again, I'm not saying that I feel guilty or anything, because I don't. They wanted me to copy. If you don't copy, you're not gonna get a good grade and you're gonna fail and you're gonna have to retake it. I just feel that these past 2 months have been wasted. What was the class before compositing fundamentals? VDS or VSD, visual look and development, something like that, where we rendered the scraper and the pulley and all that. When we went into Substance Painter, they didn't have to look exactly pixel perfect to the reference. We got to have a little fun. We got to put paint where we wanted paint and stuff like that. But in these two classes, if you're not doing exactly pixel per pixel what is being asked of you, your project's gonna look off, and we're just monkey see monkey do at this point. That's all we're doing. So like I've said a lot of times, I feel like we just got robbed in this learning experience. I don't think that compositing is something that is taught very well in this program, and I'm pretty sure that these are the only 2 classes dedicated to compositing. So I don't know how I feel about that. I would love to be able to model my own character and rig, animate, and then eventually kind of be like, hey look, it's me and this guy. And I feel like I probably can, but I'm gonna have to watch a lot more videos outside of what I was taught and what notes I took. And again, I took as many notes as I could. I tried to learn this stuff. They were like, okay, follow along with me. We're gonna take this file, here we go, we're gonna attach a grade note, we're gonna attach a pre-molt, we're gonna attach a crop. And it's like, don't get me wrong, they explained what the nodes did and why we're doing it. I just feel like there's just a big quality difference in how we were taught in 3DF, 3D Animations 1, shading and lighting, and all the other classes where we start with something new. All of those classes taught us very well. This one and the past one, I just feel like didn't teach us well at all. And again, I'm not trying to be mean or anything, it's just my experience, and I don't feel like I had a good learning experience. Now in terms of getting grades, yeah, I mean, killing it, but I can't look back on these 2 months and be like, I did that. I made something friggin' awesome. This is kind of a pitch to Full Sail on maybe how they can improve these two classes. So obviously, Compositing Fundamentals and Compositing and Scene Finishing, they're kind of back to back. If you don't pass the first one, you're not going to go into the second one. That's why all your stuff is due Thursday of that first month, so that they have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to decide if you're moving on to the second one. So here's my pitch to how they can potentially fix this error. Not error, but fix this learning problem that I had and maybe a few other people had. And I know it's not a modeling class, but what if they added a little bit of creative freedom? Because with the assignments as is, you're given stuff and then you follow along and composite it the way that they want it composited. Why not this? Why not in the first week of the first month, so we've got 8 weeks to work with here, why not in the first week we model something, or we choose a model and we UV and texture? That really doesn't take all that long. Why don't we do that in the first week? And then each week after, we just learn like, I don't know, 3 or 4 nodes, something to help us. Like in the first week, they can focus on, of course, the read node, you read it in, and then they can focus on maybe like, see, look, I can't even tell you nodes, maybe grade nodes and pre-malt nodes, some basic things to maybe start to integrate it. Well, we would potentially be learning step by step, node after node, how we can properly integrate a model that we created into a scene that's given to us or something. Or maybe we just, I don't know, they give us a picture of a table and we get to model a cool cup or a little tiny sculpture of some sort. A paperweight. What if we got to do that in week 1, and then weeks 2, 3, and 4 of the first month, and then weeks 1, 2, and 3, and 4 of compositing and scene finishing get to really finalize this and make it a piece that we can be proud of, a unique piece, instead of this composited futuristic soldier guy that everyone's project looks the same. You know what I mean? Like this class and even the last one, they were like, at the end of this, you might have something worthy of your own portfolio. No, I don't. I didn't make anything here, and I followed you guys on how to composite it. So I feel like having that little bit of creative freedom for 1 week, making our own thing, and then having us put it into a scene that's given to us, I feel like that'd be a lot cooler. Show us how to render something in all of those passes that we can then use. Because I don't know how to do that. And I get it, this is compositing, and you don't necessarily need to model. But why not give us that little bit of creative freedom, man? I think that's the thing I was missing most out of this class. Just kind of ruined it for me. I didn't get to be creative, and I was simply copying a video. And in the end, I don't have a project that is unique. I don't. I feel like I wasted these past 2 months. Wow, I've been droning on about this. Let's move on to something else. Weeks 2, 3, and 4, you have discussions. They're easy. Don't sweat them. Just, if you use pictures or video, make sure you properly import it. Otherwise, you're going to get docked. That's pretty much it. So let me go ahead and tell you. Week 1, I already said it, 17 hours, 4 minutes. Week 2, 18 hours, 49 minutes. Weeks 3 and 4, I believe I've already said them, 5 hours and 1 minute for week 3, 7 hours and 45 minutes for week 4. Giving me a total work time for the month of 48 hours and 39 minutes. Not bad, it's a typical class. So, notes about the teacher, aside from the whole not getting my week 1 grade until after week 2, kind of stressed me out. Other than that, I didn't have any problems with him. Pretty much it. In terms of the feedback he gives on assignments, he doesn't give much. It's like 1 sentence. Properly import your pictures. Good job. Something like that. It's very short, very to the point. That's pretty much it in terms of the teacher. There's not much to say. So tips, take down as many notes as you can. I know it's going to increase your 2-hour video to maybe 3 or maybe 4 hours, but learn as much as you can while you're in these classes. I tried my best to learn, still got an A in both classes, but I don't feel like I learned anything really. Just sad, man. Compositing is something, granted, it's not on my main radar, but it's something that I wouldn't mind doing every now and then. Weeks 1 and 2, you're going to spend an awful lot of time tracking, so I would say use your time well and do manual tracks and not automated tracks. In week 1, I would recommend doing more than 2 challenges that they require, because then you might get a little bit of a better grade. I only did 2, but I got an 83 on the assignment, so take that for what it's worth. So let's quickly just move into an in short. I feel like that's where you're gonna get the most bang bang bang, because it's an in short using Synthesize and Nuke. There are 9 assignments. 1 of them is professionalism, and 4 of them are actual assignments, and 4 of them are discussions. In weeks 1 and 2, you have 2 assignments, but they're relatively easy. It's gonna take a few hours though. Weeks 3 and 4 are the same assignment. Week 3, you're going to take it to the 50% mark, and then week 4, you're going to bring it all the way home with 100%. Weeks 3 and 4 are also pretty much give me weeks where you simply follow a video. And that's pretty much all I can say in short. Now, I am going to say one quick thing about my new class. I'm having troubles even seeing it. I'll throw up a picture of what I'm seeing right now. I'm in Project and Portfolio 5, but no content has been assigned to this class yet, and if I even hover over the teacher, no primary instructor has been assigned to this class section. So I've been on the phone with Full Sail at least 5-6 times today trying to get this figured out, and no one can figure this out. I've talked to student advisors, and I've talked to just the people that answer the phone. They're like, yep, we'll get you to student advisor. And then it was like, there are 7 people ahead of you in line, so maybe that the rest of my section has had this problem. I don't know what's going on, but it's Project and Portfolio 5, just a project and portfolio class, so it's a big one, so I would very much like to get to my homework. So if anyone at Full Sail is watching, please help. And that's pretty much it there. So I'm kind of scared. I hope that I can get to this class before the week is over. I'm gonna call Full Sail again tomorrow and see what's going on, but if nothing happens, I'm really scared that they might just push me back a month. I don't know. It might interfere with scholarships. It might just interfere with everything. This could even affect my graduation date. I'm not sure what's even going on, so I'm a little nervous right now. I can't see Jack. I have checked my email. I've called them a bunch of times, and still we can't seem to figure anything out. That is pretty much it. I'm a little nervous, but I will hopefully be able to get this all settled up, and it is an animation class, so I would imagine week 1 is probably blocking out anyway. So if that's the case, it won't take too long, but still nervous, and I'd still like to get it done while I have a day off work. That's pretty much where I'm standing in terms of Full Sail right now. Disappointed in the past 2 months and nervous for my future class that's not even assigned yet. So I'm scared out of my mind. Let's try to end this on a positive note. So these past 2 months I haven't been able to make anything unique to me, but I'd say my favorite thing I've made so far. What is my favorite thing I've made so far here at Full Sail? I really like the character that I modeled in character modeling, so that's my favorite thing, my little animal warrior dude. What's your guys' favorite thing? Out of every class, out of everything you've made, what's your favorite? Let me know in the comments down below. We'll be fine. We'll be just alright. So that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you're going into this class or if you're going into Compositing Fundamentals, I wish you the best. Let me know what your guys' experience is, and that's pretty much it. So if you would please like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. See you guys later.